Hey everyone, AJ here. Welcome back to Tales in Shadow and Ink. Tonight we're looking into one of the most bizarre, twisted, and darkly hilarious graphic novels that I've read of recently. Doug Wagner's Plastic. A story so wrong that it ends up feeling oddly original and pretty unforgettable. Published by Image Comics, Plastic takes the framework of a crime thriller and twists it into something grotesque, funny, and surprisingly emotional. At the center is Edwin, a retired serial killer who's finally found peace, or so he thinks. His entire world revolves around his girlfriend, Virginia, who just happens to be an inflatable sex doll. When Virginia is kidnapped by a crime syndicate, Edwin is pulled back into violence, forced to kill again in order to save the love of his life. Obviously, what grabbed me the most is the originality of this premise. Although absurd, pretty original. There is a 2000 film, early 2000 film called Blow that is also a similar story, but is a bunch of kids who pick up an inflatable sex doll and then it starts murdering people. It's like a horror comedy. So I wonder if some of that possibly inspired some of those premises in this, but who knows. So Wagner takes a concept that sounds absolutely absurd on paper and commits to it with such sincerity that it pulls the reader in. The story balances on edge between brutality and, of course, absurdly dark comedy. The violence is graphic, but the humor will make you laugh. It's that uncomfortable laughter you don't admit. Daniel Hilliard's art, with colors by Laura Martin, amplifies the uneasy blend. The visuals are clean, sharp, and pretty vivid, but the gore, interestingly, is detailed enough to make you squirm. The contrast between bright, almost poppy colors and grotesque violence gives Plastic an interesting tone, one that constantly makes you question how you would be reacting. And of course, what makes Plastic stand out from the crowded world of horror and crime comics is its voice, the mix of ultra-violence and absurdity. And it could have easily fallen flat, but Wagner leans into the ridiculousness while still giving us a surprisingly human-centered story. At its core story, it's about love, obsession, and what someone is willing to do to protect what matters to them, even if that someone is a deranged ex-serial killer that is in love with a plastic doll. So Plastic is one of those graphic novels that shouldn't work, but somehow pulls it off. It's gory, disturbing, and hilarious in equal measures. The originality of the premise and the dark humor hooks the reader just the right way. That said, I will admit the crime syndicate subplot felt a little more generic compared to the wild creative world of the rest of the book, but it served its purpose, pushing Edwin back into violence. But it really is the bizarre love story and the unsettling humor that makes Plastic so memorable. If you like your comics with originality, pitch black humor, and the willingness to go where most creators probably wouldn't dare, then Plastic might be an unforgettable read for you. So, what did you think? Did you find Plastic as entertaining as I did? Or did the absurdity push you too far? Let me know in the comments. This is definitely a book that's not for everybody, but for some, I feel like you would get a lot of entertainment value from it. As always, if you dig this review, check out my music project, Holden Oaks, on Spotify. My podcast, Bad Movie Night, is up on the iTunes and other podcast platforms. You can also check out my other podcast, Self Identities, which is out and about to enter its 3rd season. Don't forget to like and subscribe to get all my latest content. This is AJ signing off from Tales in Shadow and Ink. See you next time.